Thanks for that great introduction, Andy. That was amazing. And yeah, I do look a bit like Madonna with less hair. That's all it is. But I feel a bit like a radio DJ tonight. So I thought I'd come in my professional outfit with my little headphones, my little microphone, just to obviously give you guys the best quality I really could tonight. And thank you for Andy, obviously, for inviting me to chat to you guys, which is really great. And I'm really excited. And happy Christmas to everyone. It feels like Christmas already, doesn't it? With the new Christmas catalogues out, they're just amazing. The new K-Life catalogue is awesome. The sales are going through the roof. It is just an incredible time of year. And obviously with the new share incentive as well, what a great time of year to be building your business and building your team as well. I mean, it is the most incredible opportunity there is on the planet. I really feel that at this moment in time. So tonight I'm going to share with you maybe my story. And really the reason I share you my story is because I want you to understand, if you're brand new in the business and you're just looking at it, maybe this is maybe your first webinar, that type of thing, is that I want you to understand that ordinary people can come into this business like me and really achieve extraordinary things. It's just the most incredible business to be part of. So let's crack on with my presentation here. Let's just pop it on the screen. Okay, so my talk tonight, I've called it Start with Purpose, End in Freedom, because that's what I really did with Clean Easy when I first started. I really wanted change. I had a desire for change. I'm going to share my story with you, but also that if you work hard, make some commitments, have the desire for change, you can really end up with your own life, freedom, choices for yourself, rather than being stuck in that 9-to-5 job world where you're ruled by a boss and the wages that they share with you. In this business, you can have absolutely anything you want. So let's move you on. So this is what I've just put it as from nothing to something, really. And that's where I started from. When I first joined the business, I was a commercial fisherman. And this is what we used to catch. I used to rod and line catch sea bass for a living. That's what I used to do. And that was me promoting one of my friend's boats in the background there. And that's the biggest fish we ever caught. That's an 18-pound sea bass. If you don't know anything about them, the world record is only 19 pounds. So that was a huge, huge fish. And how we actually got started in Clean Easy, at the time I was married to my wife, Claire. And I came home from fishing one day and she said to me, "Oh, I've got someone coming round to see me about doing a few catalogues." She'd applied to a little advert that was running in the paper. And we had 2 really young children at the time. And so she said to me, "Right, Richard, you're going to look after the kids, and I'm going to see Judy, who is our sponsor, about the job about delivering catalogues." I went, "Fine, okay, no problem at all." And obviously I had to look after the kids. So I took my kids upstairs and we watched my most favourite film. And our favourite film at the time was Shrek. And the reason it was Shrek was, if you got my best friend and painted him green, he actually looks like Shrek. So off we went, we watched the film. Judy came round and showed Claire how the catalogues work, that type of thing. I put the kids to bed. I came back down after she'd gone and she got a DVD out and we put it in this player and she said to me, "What do you think?" And you've got to understand, it wasn't for me. I had my own fishing boat at the time. I was busy. So I said, "Sweetheart, if that's something you want to do, you just do it." So sure enough, she decided to join. And about 3 or 4 days later, we got the catalogues and got started, really. We packed up all the catalogues and it got to the day of delivering the catalogues. And that day I hadn't actually gone fishing. And there's only one reason I never used to go fishing. And the reason for that was because the weather. So it was blowing like a force 10 gale. It was raining. It was just absolutely horrible. And Claire said to me, "Listen, Richard, I've made a decision." And I went, "What's that, sweetheart?" She went, "You're delivering the catalogues and I'm doing all the paperwork." So sure enough, I traipsed in the wet wind and the rain and delivered the catalogues. And in our first month, we earned £250. And that was the sort of income she was looking for. She was just looking for 50 quid a week to top up for the kids and maybe save a bit more for our wedding and that type of thing. So that was fantastic. And after our first month, we got invited to a little meeting. It's called an induction evening for us. And you've got to understand, because as a fisherman at that time of year, we joined in the May and we got invited to our first meeting in the June. Well, I used to have to get up for work at about maybe 2 o'clock in the morning, and I'd be down in the marina for 2:30, and we'd go when it was dark, and as the sun rose, we'd be where we wanted to be for fishing. So going to a meeting at like 8 o'clock at night really wasn't my cup of tea. But she dragged me like kicking and screaming to this meeting. Anyway, we sat down and explained about all the catalogues and that type of thing, which I could get, because the catalogue is really easy. Delivering and collecting the catalogues to me was a piece of cake, really. But at the end, Judy was there. She was drawing some circles about building a team. And she asked one question in the room. And she said, is there anyone in the room that wants to build a team? Well, you see, I didn't have a million hours in the week to put out loads and loads of catalogs to earn loads and loads of money. So what I did was I thought, well, if I could build a little team of people, that's how I'd increase my income. So no one else put up their hand in the room. So I put mine up. I went, well, I'll do it. So sure enough, the next month she came back to us and she said, she trained us obviously how to get sponsoring. And in my third month, I actually started sponsoring people into the business. And in my first month of sponsoring, I sponsored 3 people into the business. And you've got to understand, I was like dead rubbish at it as well. Even going to see someone, it was like a nerve-wracking experience for me, but I still managed to sponsor 3 people. And then in our first year in the business, we had some real like little bombshells along the way. And the first one happened then. I used to live in Brighton. My boat was in Brighton Marina, and the house we were living in at the time was owned by Claire's mum. Claire's mum owns a property company, owns properties all over Brighton. And she knocked on our door one day and she said, you guys need to sit down. I've got something to tell you. We've sold the house. You've got 2 weeks to move. So you can imagine at that time, she was like the most favourite person on the planet, wasn't she? So sure enough, me, Claire and the kids had to move at that time. And I picked up the phone to my mum, and well, when a guy phones their mum, they always want something. She said, Richard, what do you want? So I explained the situation. She went, no problem. You come and live with us. They had a big house. And she would have loved seeing the kids and that type of thing. So we up roots and then moved 30 miles down the coast. And I just carried on fishing and I carried on building the business. I joined in the May, and by the November, I'd reached 21%. And I was really wanting to become what they call a gold distributor at that sort of time. And really, it was income focused for me because I wanted to earn £1,000 a month on a part-time basis while I was fishing. And in the November, we then had like our second bombshell, really. My mum came to me and she said, Richard, I've got something to tell you. She sat me down and she said, I've got terminal cancer. I was like, God, that's not good, obviously. And the problem with that was my dad had had Parkinson's disease for 35 years. So my mum was my dad's primary carer. My mum had to go into Macmillan's nursing home, and my dad then had to go into a full-time nursing care as well. So to pay for all of that, because the government wouldn't help them at all because they own their own property outright and that type of thing, worked hard all their lives, we had to rent the property they were in to pay for all the nursing fees. So I had to move again. And so I picked up the phone to my friend, the one that if you paint green, he looks like Shrek. Phoned him up, and then I moved again 20 miles down the road and stayed with him. And at that sort of point in time, I had about 9 team members, and I was running at 21%. And I made a sort of decision at that sort of point to spend the rest of that time with my mum, obviously. And so we didn't do a lot with Clean Easy from then till the sort of April, because my mum then passed away in April, and then I moved one more time. So in my first year in the business, I moved 4 times, and obviously my mum passed away, which was just one of those things that happens in life, isn't it? But obviously heartbreaking. And so we moved on the last time, and I called my sponsor up. And Clean Easy is a bit like riding a bike. Once you know how to do it, you can sort of get back on it and start all over again. Because when I rejoined and I removed, I had 1 team member left. That was one of my friends. He was a fish wholesaler. So my sponsor, Judy and Gordon, came back down. They did me a new plan. And 1 year later, exactly, I started it all over again. So I restarted in the June, and then we worked really, really hard. And because I'd learnt the skills in the early days of the business, I found it really easy. It was like I say, getting back on a bike. And by the November, so I started in the June again, and by the November, I'd become a gold distributor. I became a gold distributor with 23 active people in my team, because I didn't have masses of time to do masses of catalogues. So I had to build it in people rather than catalogue sales. And by the next June, I'd become a senior business, which meant I helped another person become a gold distributor as well. And then unfortunately my dad passed away as well. So in the first year and a half of the business, you know, when like the heavens open and it chucks everything at you, that's really how it felt, to be honest with you. But I really knuckled down after that, and I thought, right, I'm going to go for it, because I didn't want to do the fishing anymore. There's no money left in the fishing game. It's a hard life, you know, costs keep going up. There wasn't as many fish left. So I really wanted to make a go of Clean Easy. So I worked really hard. The next year we went bronze, which means we'd helped 2 gold distributors at that stage. Then the next year I went silver. and won my first mini. The next year I went gold exec and won my next mini. The year after I was still gold exec, and the year after that I went SED. So that's part of my journey, really, just to show you and share with you. And like I say, the reason I share it with you is because I came into the business as a really ordinary sort of person with no skill, nothing. And along the way, I've learned all of that, all the knowledge that I've needed to build the business that I've got now, which is just amazing. So I just think that the opportunity to win is absolutely amazing, isn't it? And it is absolutely booming right at this point in time. And you're crazy not to jump on the bandwagon and really get on, to be honest with you. You see, Clean Easy offered me hope. That's what it offered me, because in my industry, there was no hope. And as I started to build the business, this is how I felt. See, I had the perfect day. Every day I used to go to bed with a dream, and then in the morning, I'd wake up with a purpose to change my life for the better if I wanted to, and work hard for that. And all I did was really work hard and commit to what I was doing. So that's how I felt. And maybe that's how you can feel. Go to bed with a dream, a hope that you can change your life for the better, and wake up in the morning with a purpose and go and work hard for your future and your future dreams. You see, I think really life with purpose is the magic of why we're here. And as I've built the business, my purpose has become not only for myself and my dreams, but also for the dreams of my team. And I love my team to bits. They're just the most amazing people. And every morning I go to work, I'm always thinking of those people. How many lives can I change in my lifetime in Clean Easy with a life with purpose? That is what it's all about. Helping other people is something that drives me on a daily basis, which is just amazing. And I think having that opportunity just to give that is just the best thing ever. So here's what I think purpose is. Number one, the first thing I did was I actually loved what I did. I loved putting out the catalogs. I thought that was amazing. I enjoy the outdoors, so that was great for me. I also thought the products were amazing as well, because they really move. They sold. Everyone needs the products we have. And the other thing was I was paid for it. So I was enjoying it. I was enjoying building my team. I was enjoying the catalogs, and they paid me for it, which meant I could make a profession and vocation out of it. And over a period of time, as you learn and gain knowledge about the business, you can become really good at it. And that then encompasses all of those things to become a purpose for yourself. And I think it's better to live a life of purpose than go to work on a daily basis for a 9-to-5 job that gives you no opportunity. I'd rather work and start at the bottom with a great opportunity and work my way to the top than be stuck in a dead-end 9-to-5 job where they pay you £6-8 an hour. That's just madness in my world. So, but the things you've got to do here is you've got to learn some skills. And I have learned some skills along, and they give you the abilities, obviously, then to build the business. But you have to gain that with knowledge. And these are some of the skills I've learned. I'm just going to share them with you. So these are the type of skills. The first bit is the working practices of how the nuts and bolts of the business actually. You know, what I've learned is system is king. What system you're taught in your business from your upline, that is king. And work that system to the best of your ability, and work it hard as well, which is, everyone can work hard, can't they? And it teaches you the how-tos of the business, how to do the catalogs, how to join people to the business, all of that type of thing. It's all in the system. You really don't need to change anything, which was great. So what that meant was I could copy something and just get on with it. Presentation, I then became really good at presenting the business to other people, whether that be on the phone or whether that be on a face-to-face basis. I became an expert at that. But in my first early days, I was really rubbish with it. In fact, my first appointment, I'll never forget it. I walked in there. I didn't know what I was doing. I opened up my little portfolio that I had there, and I went, right, these are the catalogs. This is what you've got to do. You've got to deliver them, collect them, deliver the orders, and you take a percentage of that. Do you want to do it? And it lasted all of about 3 minutes. Obviously, at that point, they didn't join. But because I practiced, and I practiced a lot on a lot of people, and I was seeing a lot of people, I became good very, very quickly. So I was great at presenting the business. And then I also become good at also doing a kit issue with other people. And what that means is anyone that was new, I would go with them and start them off with the catalogue, show them what to do, and organise them with a great plan that they could follow, a direct plan that if they followed it, they would achieve success. And then I also learned how to set some goals. That was really hard in the first instances in the business. My goals were really set on monetary terms in the early days, because my first goal was to earn £1,000 a month part-time. I didn't sell the fishing boat that I had. I was still working till I was a senior business, which meant I'd obviously help someone go gold as well. And then I made the decision to sell the boat. My boat was always my backup if I needed a bit of extra cash as well. But I learned how to set some goals, personal goals for myself, but more importantly for me was the business goals, how to grow the business weekly, monthly, yearly. And I learned how to set those goals proficiently, really. I also learned how to make a great plan, planning what I would do on a daily basis to take me to the goals I'd set. You see, all it is Clean Easy is a set of disciplines you have to practice every day to take you to wherever you want to go. And it is that discipline to go out every day, practice those small little disciplines that will take you to the end result. And then I learned how to track my business as well. Not only my team, but also as my team grew, their team as well. And then I taught them how to track their business. So that was an integral part of what I learned in the early days. So that was the working practices of the business. But then there were other skills I had to learn as well. Because obviously being a fisherman, we're very direct. So if someone joined, I'd be like, put them out, pick them up, and that's it. You know, I wouldn't, and I never expected people not to do it. I just expected them to do it because I told them to do it. Because if you got on my fishing boat and you didn't do what you told, you never got back on it again. And that was just the way life was for me. So I had to learn who to become what I am today. And things like dealing with people, because I was so direct with people, that really wasn't the way to do it when I first joined. But I've learned over a period of time how to deal with different people in different ways. Again, I've learned how to become a listener rather than a talker. Now, we have 2 ears and a mouth for a reason, but people don't obviously use it in that proportion most of the time, unfortunately. But I have learned, obviously, to become a listener and listen to what people want and then give them a plan to what their needs rather than anything else. Then I became good at coaching. Obviously, at first, it was really direct. I was really abrupt. But over a period of time, I learned how to coach the people to their desired incomes and business over a period of time, which was just great. I also learned I learned how to read body language as well. That's really interesting. That fascinates me. So, you know, watching people and how they react to you. And even when I'm talking to people, if I want a good reaction, I just nod my head to them. So I want them to agree to me. And in the end, they nod their head back. It's really interesting. Try it. Honestly, it just works. Also, another thing is smiling as well. Have you ever tried smiling? I'm a really smiley, happy, chappy type person. And for instance, when I was delivering flyers in the town centre with my team, we used to have like a little competition to see who could make the most people smile. And what we used to do was just smile, and everyone used to smile back at us. There was the odd grumpy person, but most people. Then there was the mental mindset. You know, I had to get my mental mindset right, because obviously there can be a bit of negativity from people at points. They're going, oh, you shouldn't do it, or whatever, it might not work. So my mental mindset had to be right as well. And then my attitude had to be a positive attitude. There's nothing worse than a negative attitude, is there? My glass has always been half full. I don't know about your guys. And probably most of the people in the room, their glass is half full as well. And also if you've just joined the business. So how did I gain all my knowledge? Well, I gained it from books and CDs, and obviously from my upline, who would then recommend things to learn from. So my car became a little like driving around university. I was reading books. Here's a little story. I've got loads of little stories, but here's a story about a book. I went on holiday one time with my friends, Ivan and Sarah, and there was me and Claire, and we had all the kids. They've all got kids as well. Anyway, we're sitting by the pool, and it's a lovely sunny day in Spain, and I'm reading 7 Strategies to Wealth and Happiness by a guy called Jim Rohn. And Ivan next to me, he's got this massive book. He was like into martial arts. It was like a kung fu book, but the writing was really small and there's a few pictures in it and that type of thing. Anyway, I read this book and it took me an hour and a half to read it. And I had a little highlighter pen and I was highlighting off bits and pieces that I wanted out of the book. And he went to me, what are you reading? And I went, oh, you should read this, because he had his own business in printing stationery, you see. So he then read it. And an hour and a half later, he'd read the whole book and he goes, this Clean Easy thing, what's it all about? And I went, here, come to the bar, I'll show you. So we walked to the bar and I got a little, like a little, what do you call them, napkin. I got a napkin with a little pen, and I went, right, this is what you got to do. There's you build like a team here, and then you teach 5 other people to build teams like this, and you earn 50 grand a year. He went, really? And I went, yeah. And he started going on about it. I went, look, Ivan, I'm on holiday. I just want to relax. I'll tell you what I do is I'll take you to a meeting. And then you can, and sure enough, we went to one that was called the Full Monty, and Rob Foster was there speaking at the time, and it just blew him away. And from that, he became a bronze distributor within my business. So that just shows you. But the books are so important, aren't they, for your future development? Because when you come into the business, I knew absolutely nothing about it. So the only way I could learn was from books, CDs, and that type of thing. I can't emphasize how important that really is to you. You see, what you've got to do is feed your mind. The mind is everything. And what you've got to understand is what you think about, you become. And that's so true. If you continuously think about something, you'll eventually end up in that place. Your vision, the vision of where you want to go, and your dreams and your future. And it also prepares you for some challenges. And to be honest with you, you know, in the early days when I was building the business, there are some challenges you have to come across. And there's you in the red shorts, and that looks like the challenge in front of you. But if you're personally developed, it prepares you for those challenges. I think the little guy there's just going to go straight through his legs, to be honest with you. Hardship often prepares ordinary people for extraordinary destinies. You know, in the early days, I had a really hard time with that first year in the business. But often at those times, it prepares you, and you can still have that extraordinary destination. As like you've heard Andy say, you know, we've won the cars and the £25,000. Just been an amazing journey from us. If you consider where I came from or where I started from, it's just been the most incredible journey, and I've loved every minute of it. You see, the struggle you're in today is developing your strength for tomorrow, and that's so true. And maybe there's the odd person in the room today that may have been going through something like I went through in the early days. Honestly, it'll just make you stronger for the tomorrow, definitely. See, I'm a believer. I'm here for a reason. Does anyone else feel like that? That you're here for a reason? And you've got a purpose in life. And what happened to me, my purpose in Clean Easy became greater than my challenges, especially as my team started to grow, because my purpose became my team. I was their leader, and my life was built around a team of people that I care for and that I love. So my purpose became greater than my challenges. So my challenges were small compared to the people that I was working with. But does anyone else feel like they're here? They're put on the planet for a purpose? You see, you've just got to be mindful of your thoughts when you're alone. And that's why it's so important to pick up a book and develop the thought process that you're actually in. But also, you've got to be really mindful of your words when you're with people. Because, let me share this with you, it only takes one negative comment to kill a dream. Absolutely kill it dead in 1 second. Do you want to be the person responsible for killing someone new's dream that's just joined the business? So every time you speak to someone that may be new or even old in the business, just remember that. If you've got nothing good to say, just don't say it at all. That would be my suggestion. So you've got to understand that in the business, because everyone looks to their sponsor and that type of thing, in the business, you're the key to the whole thing. You're the person that will drive your business forward to the success you'll want. You need to have a little bit of energy. So get energized with your business. Have a little bit of passion about it. You know, it is the most exciting business on the planet. Once you get it going and your team starts growing, it's just so exciting, honestly. And you've just got to have a bit of enthusiasm about it. So when you talk to people about the business, have that enthusiasm of what you're talking about. Positive attitude. Have your glass half full. You know, you can walk into a bar, can't you? And some people walk into a bar and it's like they light up the room. And there's some people that walk into the bar and everyone goes to the bar for a drink because I don't want to talk to them. Will you be the person that goes into the bar and lights up the room? So you just got to have that positive energy about you. And also embrace change. As your business grows and as the future develops with our business now, with online and that type of thing, you have to embrace change. Don't sit in the dark ages. Embrace the change as the business develops and moves forward, especially into new countries and that type of thing. And I've always distanced myself from the negative. You know, that's been some of the hardest things I've ever had to do, and with and some good friends and that type of thing, where it's been I've been in a negative situation and I've literally had to distance myself from those people. And then all I did was socialize with the people that were really positive about the business I was in, and that did me no end of good. So really distance yourself from the negative, because you will get it. And like I say, be the person that lights up a room. And you know how to do that. It's one really easy thing. It's just a smile, isn't it? And you must become attractive. And what I mean by that is not put on lots of makeup like I do with lipstick and eyeliner and that type of thing. No, I really don't. But you have an aura about you. So when you have a positive attitude and you have like this positive aura, people become attracted to you and will join your business. And it can just be your stance, the way you walk, the way you look, the confidence in you. People become attractive in that sort of sense, and you must become attractive, and people will join you because of that attraction. And listen, here's the thing: if you don't smile, I give you one of mine, because a smile can change everything for everyone on a daily basis, can't they? Can't it? You know, and just keep that smile going. You see, the thing is, knowledge without action is useless, really, to be honest with you. So you're gaining the knowledge. The great thing is you can come into our business. You don't need to know anything. Everything's going to be taught to you. It's a skill-based business. And then what you've got to do is take action. And when you take action, you will then obviously build your business. That's where it lies. Action knowledge, action equals power. Action's just like the glue to all success, really. And you have to become like Action Man or Wonder Woman and just get in the thick of it. So I thought growing with a purpose. That was me. I wanted to grow with a purpose to change my life and change other people's lives that I brought into the business as well. And to me, team building was simple, really, in my eyes. You know, building a team really isn't that hard. All I did in the early days was set clear business goals for myself. 90 days it was, for 3 periods. I used to set 3-period goals, 90-day plans. So I used to know how much retail I had to do. And because it was for 90 days, what would happen was I could break it down into a month, then I could break it down into a week. So I set 90 days goals of where I wanted my business to be at the end of it and where it was then. And all I had to do was do the work in the middle to get it from A to B, if you like. But I could break it down into bite-sized chunks, because what I needed, obviously once I knew what I needed to do in 90 days, then I could break it down to monthly, then I could break it down into weekly. So I had weekly retail targets that I wanted to achieve, how many people I needed to activate on a weekly basis to grow my business. And that meant I just need to know how many leads I needed weekly. And I became a master at lead generation. That was my complete focus, was I became great at generating a lead. And I worked hard at it. If someone told me to put out 10,000 flyers, I would put out 10,000 flyers. But there's a million ways you can get leads these days, a million ways. And then I also learned how to make a plan that fits, because understand that I built my full-time income part-time alongside my full-time job. I was a full-time fisherman, and then by the time I left my fishing, I had a part-time income that was full-time as well. So I had to have a plan, a very disciplined, dedicated plan that fitted in around my fishing. And then I went to work with a purpose and urgency. I just got some energy, got urgent with it, and I wanted the change, really. That's what it was. And that's what you've got to do. Just get urgent with it and step up and work hard. You see, the path to success is to take massive determination, really. And what you've got to understand is success just doesn't come to you. You've got to go and get it. You can't sit there watching Jeremy Kyle every day and dipping your biscuits in your tea and think it's going to land in your lap. That's just not the way it is. You've got to go out and get it for yourselves. Each and every day, work that plan. See, the biggest failing is here. If you're persistent, you'll get what you want. And if you're consistent, you'll keep it. And that's why it's so important. And everyone goes on about it. They go, just be persistent and consistent. Be persistent, you'll get what you want, and be consistent and you'll keep it. And the biggest failing is people just don't follow a plan on a consistent and persistent basis over a period of time. And that's all I've done. I've done my retail every week, and I've joined one person a week, and I've been consistent at it, and I've persisted at it all the time, and I've never quitted, ever. And that's how I've achieved the things I've done. It really is as simple as that. You see, and then I thought about leadership for my team. And this is my thoughts on it. You see, example is not the main thing in influencing others. It is the only thing. You are the leader, and you are the speed of the team. You see, the speed of the team is the speed of the leader. So whatever you do, they will follow. So if you work hard and do a lot, so will your team. If you don't work hard and do a lot, nor will your team. You are the guiding influence for other people. You're going to lead that path of success for those people. So that's how I committed to working a retail order every week. I made a commitment that I was going to do that. I then committed to joining one person a week. I then committed to following my plan. Without fail, I would be out there following that plan on a daily basis. And that's where most people go wrong. They don't do some people just don't do a plan, you know, but other people will do a plan and just not follow it, which is craziness. Then I was committed to making some goals. You know, that was one of the hardest things for me in the early days. But once I'd learned how to do it, I'd mastered it. It was easy, to be honest with you. I committed to learning the system in detail. The system that I was taught by our leaders, Peter and Jackie Y, Craig, Mike and Jean, they're the leading lights in the vision group. You know, the system, I learned the system inside out. And then I committed to personal development. I really wanted to change. And the only way I could change was to change myself, really, to be honest. So I committed to that as well. I've read hundreds and hundreds of books, hundreds of them. And then I committed to leading my team by example. That was really important for me. I worked, and I have worked harder than anyone in my team ever. And I wanted it to be like that. So I led my team by example. I always joined the most people. And so it was, I wanted to show them the way, really. That's all I wanted to do. And then I committed to attending every event. I'll give it a really another quick story because I'm probably running out a little bit of time here. About 8 weeks ago now, I had an accident. I was playing football with my son in the field. I kicked the football over a fence. It was in a school-like sports field, and there was a big fence along the sports field. Anyway, I climbed the fence, and basically I fell off the fence, and they had little spikes on the fence on the top of the fence. The spike went into my armpit. I fell off the fence, and it ripped my armpit out of my arm, really, basically. Now, the story here is I committed a week later to do a training for Jackie at her key rally at this point. So that night I went into surgery. They patched me all back up, which was just fantastic. And a week later, I still did the event. I could have cried off and gone, no, my arm hurts. It's all got stitches underneath it. It's got like a smiley face underneath my armpit now. But yeah, I could have committed, but I made that commitment to attend the meeting and do the training. And I still went. I couldn't wave my arms around too much, but again, it's a commitment to whatever you do, isn't it? Every part of this business is about committing to every single piece of it. You see, all you've got to do is decide what you want, have the purpose, commit to it, work hard, set some goals, have a great plan that suits you, and I'm telling you now, whatever happens, it will take you to success, which is it's just so easy to do, but can be so easy not to do as well sometimes. And that's how, really, we got to win 2 Mini Coopers and a Vauxhall Corsa. We did that in 16 months. To give you an idea, I never kept any of them. I sold them, and that gave me £31,000 in cash, those cars, in 14 months, which was just amazing. I understand I was a fisherman. I've never had anything in my life. No, never won the lottery or anything. I wish I did. I win the lottery, but never had anything given to me. Nothing. But I joined Clean Easy, work hard. They give me 3 cars worth 31,000 quid that I sold, and I got the cash for. Just unbelievable, unbelievable. And then 2 years ago, we walked onto stage, and I had the choice of a BMW 3 Series or £25,000 in cash. So I took the £25,000 in cash. Can you just imagine how I feel when I look back on my Clean Easy journey as it is, and look back and got £31,000 from cars, 25,000. That's £56,000 just in bonuses I've had from the company. That's without my income. And then they've sent me all over the world traveling as well. I mean, as a fisherman, I could only afford like the 3-star all-inclusive holidays, you know, you go to Spain with and you can drink all the free beer and that type of thing. Well, in Clean Easy, you go 5-star. The best one I ever went on was like the Caribbean cruise. That was just so amazing because I went fishing with the crew down the decks. No one could ever find me because I was like 3 decks below fishing. It was just amazing. So it can be the most amazing journey for you if you just put your mind to it and work hard. So it took me from here. That's where I was when I started. And that's me towing in one of my friend's boats. He had a net caught round his propeller at the time. and to there. I don't know what the funny feather thing is in the background though, but it makes me look like I've got a bit of hair, so that's not so bad, is it really, to be honest with you? But before I leave you and that type of thing, I just want to share this short video clip with you. So I'm going to ask Andy if he can put this video clip on for me now and just listen to it, because it's something what people say to me, what motivates you, what drives you, Richard? And this is something that, little things like this that will drive it. Just listen to this, have a little listen. So I'm going to ask Andy if he can put it on for me. That would just be amazing.
Now, of course, people ask me all the time, they say to me, what is the secret to success? The first rule is trust yourself. But what is most important is that you have to dig deep down and ask yourselves, who do you want to be? Not what, but who. And I'm talking about not what your parents and teachers want you to be, but you. I'm talking about figuring out for yourselves what makes you happy, no matter how crazy it may sound to the people. So rule number one is, of course, trust yourself no matter what anyone else thinks. And of course, rule number two is break the rules. We have so many rules in life about everything. I say break the rules, not the law, but break the rules. It is impossible to be a maverick or a true original if you're too well behaved and don't want to break the rules. You have to think outside the box. That's what I believe. After all, what is the point of being on this earth if all you want to do is be liked by everyone and avoid trouble? The only way that I ever got any place was by breaking some of the rules. Which of course brings me to rule number three. Don't be afraid to fail. Anything I've ever attempted, I was always willing to fail. You can't always win, but don't be afraid of making decisions. You can't be paralyzed by fear of failure, or you will never push yourself. You keep pushing because you believe in yourself and in your vision. And you know that it's the right thing to do, and success will come. So don't be afraid to fail. Which brings me to rule number four, which is don't listen to the naysayers. I mean, how many times have you heard that you can't do this, and you can't do that, and it has never been done before? As a matter of fact, I love it when someone says that no one has ever done this before, because then when I do it, that means that I'm the first one that has done it. So pay no attention to the people that say it can't be done. I always listen to myself and said, yes, you can. And that brings me to rule number 5, which is the most important rule of all. Work your butt off. Now, I've always believed leaving no stone unturned. Muhammad Ali, one of my great heroes, had a great line in the 70s when he was asked, how many sit-ups do you do? He said, I don't count my sit-ups. I only start counting when it starts hurting. When I feel pain, that's when I start counting, because that's when it really counts. That's what makes you a champion. That's the way it is with everything. No pain, no gain. But let me tell you, it is important to have fun in life, of course. But when you're out there partying, horsing around, someone out there at the same time is working hard. Someone is getting smarter and someone is winning. Just remember that. But if you want to win, there's absolutely no way around hard work. None of my rules, by the way, of success will work unless you do. I've always figured out that there's 24 hours a day. You sleep 6 hours. You have 18 hours left. Now, I know there's some of you out there now and says, well, wait a minute, I sleep 8 hours or 9 hours. Well, then just sleep faster, I would recommend. Just remember, you can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in a pocket. And that takes me to rule number 6, which is a very important rule. It's about giving back. Whatever path that you take in your lives, you must always find time to give something back. Something back to your community, give something back to your state or to your country. Let me tell you something, reaching out and helping people will bring you more satisfaction than anything else you've ever done. Remember those 6 rules. Trust yourself, break some rules, don't be afraid to fail, ignore the naysayers, work like hell, and give something back.
Well, that's just great. It's little things like that motivate me, isn't it? So true. You know, all you've got to do, guys, is really just believe in the power of your dreams. Decide what you want, commit, work hard, set some goals, have a plan that you can work, and then that will lead you to the success and your future of your dreams, really. So let me just take myself. That's the end of my presentation. I hope you liked some of it. I hope you took some notes, got something out of it. Just even if one of you goes and does something with it, it'd just be amazing. So I'm just going to obviously come back and just want to say thank you ever so much for you guys letting me on here. Sue and Andy are just amazing people, so thank you ever so much. And thank you for all you guys attending. I just want to wish everyone an absolutely fantastic Christmas, and just got to remember, 'tis the time to be jolly, isn't it? Because it's such an amazing time of year. And I'll see you all at the next really great big conference. That'll be great. Thanks ever so much. Back to Andy now.